Okay, guys, we're going to be problem solving, finding an unknown length. The essential question is, how can you use strategies, guess, check, and revise? So this lesson's going to dig on deep in your persistence. You're probably not going to come up with the right answer right off the bat. So let's get started and let's use our persistence. Sarah wants to design a rectangular garden with the sections for flowers that attracts butterflies. She wants the area of this section to be 3/4 square yards. If she wants the width to be 1/3 of the length, what will the dimensions of the butterfly be? All right, so what do we need to know? Here's what we want to find out. If she wants the width to be 1/3 the length of the dimensions, what will it be? So I'm just going to start off by writing an equation so that we kind of know this goes here. So I'm going to use this spot. So I know the width is we have length times 1/3. Got to figure that first, times the width. Nope, sorry. Times the length equals 3/4. So this is what the width will be, times the length equals 3/4. So first we have to figure out the length times 1/3. And then we'll take that times the length because that'll give us our width. So what do we know? We know it's 3/4. And we also know that the length is 1/3 times more. So what are we going to do? We're going to guess. We're going to check. And then we're going to revise it as many times as it takes to revise it. All right. Okay, here we go. So they decided, they're just going to show you how they started off. They decided the length, so here's our butterfly garden. So in our formula here, they decided that the length was going to be 3/4. So to make that in that formula, we're going to do 3/4 times 1/3 times 3/4, because we just did that because we're trying to find the width, times the length, and see if we come up with 3/4. We will compare that. So if we do this quick, we do 3/4, that's 3/12. And we could simplify, but we don't need to till we're at the end. So 3/4 times 3/12 is 9/48, and I can simplify that by 3, and I get 3/16. Well, 3/16 is not equal to the 3/4. It's way too low. So that means we did a guess, we did a check, and we have to revise. So if we know it's way too low, they're going to try something bigger. It was way too low, so they tried 2 1/4. So let's write that down in our formula. Remember, it's easier to multiply an improper fraction. So we're going to do 9/4 times 1/3. There's our formula. Times 9/4 equals, does it equal 3/4? I don't know. Let's find out. So if I do this, I get 9/12 times 9/4, and I can do that again. I get 81/48, and if I change that back into that means I get 1 whole, because 48 can go into it once. And I really have to go no further with my estimate, except for it's 1 whole and 48 3 over 48. So it's almost 2. So that just tells me that I'm way too high. So I got to find something in between 3/4 and 9/4. So I'm going to try, I don't know, 1.5 maybe. That might be my thing to try in between there. And you might have to try lots of different things. So that really is 3 over 2. So here's my formula again. 3 over 2 times 1/3 times, what do we have to take it times? What are we doing? 3 over 2 equals 3/4. Let's see if we get closer. 3 over 6. I could exchange it, but I'm just going to keep multiplying for right now. And I get 9/12. And if I simplify 9/12, I can divide them both by 3. I get 3/4. 3/4 is equivalent to 3/4. So what is that saying our dimensions was? Our dimensions were 3, 6 by our dimensions were 1.5 by, what did we get here? 1.5 by 3, 6. Nope, by 9/12. 3, 6 equaled 3/4. What I get here times here. So these are my numbers that I needed to put up there. So do you see how we just had to guess and check? And I know a lot of you were just writing it down, but that's not going to help you when you get to doing these on your own. You got to be stopping and coming up with your own. So let's do another one, and then we'll have to stop the tape, and I'll give you the rest of the directions. Marcus is building a rectangular box for his kittens to sleep in. He wants the area of the bottom of the box to be 360 square inches, and he wants the length of one side to be 1 3/5 the length of the other side. What should the dimensions be? All right, so here's our box. What do we know? We know that one of the sides is 1 3/5 times, we'll say the length, times the length equals 360. So this is the width times the length equals 360. So when I look at this, it's kind of like a little overwhelming for me. So I just say, well, I know 1 3/5 is like 1.5. So that means this side is 1.5 more than this side. Well, and what numbers would be 1.5 more to get me to the total of 360 square inches? So I'm just going to try a number and see what happens. So I've got, let's try 10 times, so 10 we're going to do, so let's plug this in. 10, 1 3/5, so let's change that to an improper fraction, and we get 8/5 times 10 times 10 equals 360. We'll see. Okay, but that's our goal. So if I take this is over 1. 80 over 1 is 5. So if I divide that out, 80 divided by 5, I get 116. So this is a total of 16 times 10 equals 160. Not quite enough, is it? So what do I want to try next? Now, I'm kind of far off, so I'm going to double this, and I'm going to do 20. So 8/5 times 20 times 20 equals, let's try it, and I get 160 over 5. And when I divide that out, I get 32. So my width is 32 times 20. And if I do that, that's 640. Too much. So 10 was too small. 20 is too much. I'll try halfway in the middle. I'll try 15. So 8/5 times 15 times 15 equals, so let's do that. Well, 15 times 8 is 120 over 5. And 120, oops, can't see, divided by 5 is 24. So this is 24 times 15. 24 times 15. 0, 2, 12. So my dimensions are 24 by 15 equals 360. Now, did that come easily? No. We had to try. We had to take what we knew. All right. So I am going to stop maybe the tape, and then I'll add the next one to it.